Hello viewer. You are welcome to this podcast, which is the first of a series of comprehensive podcasts on education, leadership, and governance that we intend to feature in coming days. My topic today is on why Kenya's education is in bigger crisis than Ruto admin will admit. Unless Ruto administration takes serious measures to resolve problems affecting the education sector, his legacy will be judged harshly by history. Many would come to remember Ruto's admin as one that presided over a general decline of the education standard, education facilities, and even the staff morale. Each level of education in Kenya seems to be in a crisis it has to grapple with. And rather than the crises resolving, they seem to be worsening day by day. That includes primary school, junior secondary, TVETs, and, of course, the universities. Luckily, the problems are not insurmountable. Many can be sorted instantly and others within a period of 1 or 2 years, provided that those in charge of the country and the sector put together their minds and the required resources and stakeholders. Let's see some of the most urgent problems that begs attention. Primary school education. As much as primary schools comprise the foundation of learning, their situation is quite gloomy right now. The schools are struggling under the weight of overcrowded classrooms, teacher shortages, and crumbling infrastructure. In many public schools, including many rural areas, you'll find 60 or even 100 students packed into a single classroom, making personalized attention nearly impossible. Teachers are overworked, underpaid, and often demoralized. Delayed promotions and poor working conditions kill motivation. The handling of promotions by TSC has left a lot to be desired, if you ask many teachers. Then there's the CBC dilemma. While the new curriculum aims to foster creativity, its implementation has been chaotic and costly. Parents are drowning in endless school projects, buying materials, printing portfolios, and footing bills that many can't afford. Meanwhile, poverty remains a brutal gatekeeper. In slums and rural areas, children drop out to work, beg, or worse, succumb to early marriages. Without urgent intervention, Kenya risks leaving an entire generation behind with shattered dreams of even reaching junior secondary school. That would greatly reverse the enrollment gains Kenya has made over the years. The number of primary school dropouts is on the rise and might worsen, especially after the CS for Education Migos Ogamba told the National Assembly Education Committee, on June 5, that the government has continually lagged in remitting billions of shillings that are meant to make primary school education free and compulsory. The CS admits that the situation is so bad that besides compromising quality of learning, some schools have been suspending co-curricular activities. His revelation has prompted the legislators led by the Parliamentary Committee Chair Julius Melli to propose an urgent meeting soon to deliberate on the matter, since the Constitution 2010 promises free and compulsory basic education, yet the government has reneged on it. Junior secondary school. JSS has been branded by many parents as a system in chaos due to endless challenges. The transition to junior secondary, grade 7 to 9, has been rocky at best, disastrous at worst. Many primary schools hosting JSS still lack labs, workshops, and even enough desks. Teachers, some still untrained in CBC methods, are struggling to deliver lessons effectively. Some JSS teachers in Taita Taveta and Kakamega say they are made to teach subjects they were not trained to teach. For instance, one teacher who did English and CRE in the university told me how he is assigned to teach computer for grade 7 and 8, yet it is not his specialty. Then there's the double intake crisis. The lingering 8-4 system overlapping with CBC has stretched resources to breaking point. Parents, already strained by high living costs, now face new financial burdens, more textbooks, more projects, more levies. If this isn't fixed fast, JSS could become a bottleneck that fails millions of students instead of preparing them for high school. Secondary education. Just like JSS, secondary schools currently are reeling under the problems of underfunding. The schools continue to lack basics due to huge population, yet the government capitation is flowing in tiny drops. As a result, many schools report lack of facilities and materials for their labs and libraries. During a recent conference of the school heads, the association chair told of how the school principals have had to invent lies to the school suppliers whom the schools owe huge sums of money, and nobody knows when they would be paid. Besides problems of capitation, the secondary schools are currently experiencing another critical challenge: teachers' number deficit of nearly 25%, TVET. Are TVETs the Kenya's most undervalued lifeline? It is widely felt by educationists and Kenyans at large that if Kenya wants to tackle youth unemployment, TVET colleges remains the highest potential game changer. Yet, they remain stigmatized, underfunded, and disconnected from industry needs. Many parents still push their children toward university, even when technical skills offer better job prospects. Inside these colleges, the workshops lack modern equipment, trainers lack industry experience, and courses lag behind market demands. There is a huge section of graduates who finish with certificates but no real employable skills because many training curriculums have taken several decades to reform and align with market needs. Meanwhile, government funding is inconsistent, leaving institutions struggling to stay afloat. If Kenya doesn't rebrand and reinvest in TVET, the dream of a skilled workforce will remain just that, a dream. The recent scrapping of the KNEC modular system for replacement with CBET programs in the TVET institutions was laudable, but it has wrought havoc by leaving tens of thousands of TVET students stranded because the heads of TVET are still waiting for guidelines on how to transition the midway students from KNEC to CDAC's CBET programs. For example, learners who had done an artisan or craft certificate with the view to bridge to diploma are currently at home waiting for guidance on how and where to be placed in order to proceed with levels 5 or 6 of the adopted CDAC's CBET curriculum. This lacuna is yet another indicator of how casually some officials in the State Department of Education treat TVET cadres. Universities. Once seen as pillars of opportunity, Kenyan universities are grappling with systemic crises that threaten their quality and relevance. More than 21 universities are experiencing unsustainable financial debts. Several of them, such as Moi and Technical University of Kenya, are technically insolvent. Universities are in debts exceeding 60 billion Kenyan shillings, some are unable to pay salaries or maintain facilities. Courtesy of reduced capitation, nobody ever thought that some of the most prestigious public universities like Kenyatta University and Moi University could sink so much financially to a point of laying off staff and suspending some of their coveted projects. For some reasons, even enrollment numbers in the public universities is on a decline for the first time ever. Observers blame the decline on the high level of unemployment among university graduates, which has demotivated high school leavers from pursuing bachelor programs. Some high school leavers have been opting to join the mid-level technical institutes and polytechnics. However, there are thousands of Form 4 leavers who attain C+ and above, but they have been forced to forfeit their university places due to lack of financial means, especially after the government had introduced new funding model that has been riddled with confusion when it comes to banding students. With the reforms process confusion, universities are seeing fewer applicants. Many students now opt for cheaper alternatives like TVETs or online courses, leaving lecture halls half empty. For example, the University of Nairobi reported a 40% drop in enrollment since 2020, signaling a looming sustainability crisis. The trend cuts across many other universities. Apart from university students, lecturers too are unhappy and demoralized. Every year there have been a major strike or two strikes by the academic staff and the non-academic staff through their respective unions, UASU, KUSU, and KUDEHA. Some dons have been forced by worsening terms and conditions to emigrate to other African countries or even Middle East in search of greener pastures. This situation should be cause of worry among parents and Kenyans in general, because the confusion in the universities could affect preparation of the institutions for the CBE cohorts who are set to join university from the senior secondary within the next 4 years. Preparations for CBE entails reviewing of curriculums, establishment of requisite facilities to cater for all CBE streams, and expansion of classrooms and laboratories to accommodate potentially high numbers of the pioneering groups. Just like other public institutions, universities have experienced increased incidences of corruption and abuse of funds, as attested in series of annual government audit reports. New financial strategies including government bailout to avert collapse of the universities. Act on the disturbing reports of abuse of funds in the universities and other irregularities such as wastage of funds on low-priority projects or programs. Some problems affecting the education sector have been worsened by exclusion of key stakeholders in decision-making. Many institutions and heads of the institutions merely wait for circulars from Nairobi on a wide range of matters of which they have had no input, and they have to comply unquestioningly. A good example was scrapping of business and social science programs in the TVET institutions last year. The government needs to take action to ensure that poverty and disability does not disadvantage some learners in the primary and secondary schools now that the CS for Education has said that education is free on paper. The government has duty to look for resources to ensure staff get their emoluments in line with CBA and that all the requisite educational facilities are provided in all the levels of education. As a former Harvard University president Derek Bock says, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. The education sector needs a team of key stakeholders to monitor and regularly report on the progress of transition from 8.4.4 to CBE curriculum, thus ensuring all challenges are diagnosed and addressed on time for smooth reforms. Without such a mechanism, the new curriculum can easily fail to meet its objectives. The Ministry of Education should pay special attention to the issue of digitalization to enhance installation of infrastructure and internet connectivity, which remain a cornerstone in the current education reforms. Concluding, every senior government official is saying, and rightly so, that education is Kenya's greatest equalizer, but right now, it's a system failing its youth. Without urgent action, we're looking at more dropouts, more unemployment, and a generation unprepared for the future. The question is, will Kenya Kwanza administration, or, if you will, the broad-based government fix our schools, or are we to keep pretending the crisis isn't there? The time to act is now. Thank you for tuning in this channel. If you love our work, please hit the subscribe button. Subscription is free, and also like and share. Keep track with our oncoming series of comprehensive podcasts on education, leadership, and governance. All in the spirit of our motto, in the service of the society. Bye for now.